everyone to Be Elite Pod. I'm Shawn Michael.
And I'm Party Johnnetty, and together we are the PodRockers.
The PodRockers are recording BEP live from our home elite studios to bring you, the PodRocker Nation, the very best in AEW wrestling commentary. And this week, we are bringing you a Road to Show preview for AEW on TNT. It's AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite.
That's right. It is absolutely crazy. We are finally here, Shawn.
I am so pumped for this party, Johnnetty. This has been, when the last pay-per-view All Out happened, you're like, oh my gosh, I got like a month to wait. How am I going to be able to wait that long? And poof, here it is, ready to rock and roll. We got a name between now and then. I think at this point they've already announced who the mystery partners are. We haven't watched it yet because, we don't like to watch ourselves on TV, right? They're going to announce the PodRockers. Like, I don't, I'm not that, egotistical that I have to see that announcement. So we'll check it out after this show. But
yeah,
obviously, ladies and gentlemen, you already know the PodRockers are going to be teaming up with Chris Jericho to take on the Golden Elite. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh yeah, I'm totally ready. We were able off air to text people and see what we could do, ask for forgiveness, and I mean, it just goes back actually to that old saying, ask for forgiveness, not for permission. So
Exactly.
That's what we decided to do.
Yeah, I got my phone plan together. I got that new credit card. I got a black, what do they call those? I don't even think the black Visa card now. Freaking unlimited, right? It's got CJ's name on it. Don't tell him that because I got it from his wallet. But we got to get the good gear. We got to look good.
Exactly.
Full gear challenge, am I right? We got to look good for that match.
Yeah, and I mean, he will definitely allow us to do that. I don't see a problem, and he'll forgive us. He'll forgive us for sure.
I just got a message. CJ saying something about fraud. Is that? I know a lot, but is that some kind of thing for wrestling that we don't know about? Like, what's fraud? What's that mean?
That might be the name of his new move.
Oh wait, is that going to be our group name? We're going to be the Fraud.
The Frauds. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
Fraud 2J. Fraud 2J.
You guys are nothing but a bunch of frauds.
Yeah. We have it sounds almost like frogs. We'll have a frog logo.
Yes, I like it.
Oh, I love it. All right, so we are going to preview a little bit of this. So let's jump into our gorilla position here as we give it just kind of a general review or general preview of the upcoming matches for AEW Dynamite. So the very first match of the night, we are going to get the American Nightmare Cody taking on the Panda Heart, Sammy Guevara. This match, so Party Johnnetty, why don't you lead us off with what do you think about this match? What are you excited about? What do you think's going to happen?
Oh man, this is going to be a fun little match, and I think it's a great show opener. Usually when you're doing a show, you want a good opening match that's going to whet the crowd's appetite, get them excited for what's to come throughout the whole event, and this is a good one to start with. Cody's obviously talking about his situation with Chris Jericho, but he says he's not overlooking Sammy. However, it seems like he is. If anything, this is a great showcase between two guys. This pushes Sammy into a situation where he can showcase more of his own talents. And I think this is going to be a good match between the two of them. However, I still think that Cody Rhodes is going to win.
I know they've been kind of laying out the whole, Cody's not looking past Sammy for the title match, but they've also kind of mentioned, if Cody loses this match, he's not going to be the number one contender. Card subject to change.
Yeah.
So I hope that they really kind of play, because it would be, imagine if this match, let's say it's a 15-minute time limit, and it takes Cody all of 14 minutes, 30 seconds to put away Sammy.
Yeah.
And you really get Sammy over in this, because his first match at Double or Nothing was a little rough. You and I both talked about that, but his second showing was really good. And you really get that skill, that skill set that he has in the ring that was just really enjoyable for me. And his on-camera stuff, I feel, is improving a little bit too, as he's been a little bit more the being the elites and kind of showing, road twos. So I really hope this is kind of just like they did for Darby Allin, giving him a chance to kind of get to that mid-level tier. I don't know. I've heard some rumors that they will end up doing a mid-level tier title, but then I've heard that they're not. Mm-hmm. But it'd be nice to kind of see Sammy, like Darby, and them kind of getting queued up for that, that second tier kind of title run. But yeah, it's a great kickoff. The other thing that I'm gonna be really excited about this is like all these matches here with guys that you really, really know. Like it doesn't remind me of like old WCW Nitro or old WWF Raw where it's like, Shawn Michaels versus Bob Jones.
Oh, I loved Bob Jones. He was awesome.
He was awesome. He was. BJ was the man. I mean, he had the BJ drop. Oh, when that came, you knew it was all over the place.
Yep, totally. Everyone loved the BJ drop.
Yeah. You had to watch out. It was kind of like a Gallagher show because like the first few rows, you had to be very, very careful because there's a lot of, sweat and stuff like that. He was a sweaty dude.
Very sweaty.
But good old Bob Jones. I wonder if he's going to be at StarCast. Maybe we can get him as our fourth member. That's what it is. Bob Jones is the fourth member of the Fraud.
Hell yeah. Another fraudster.
All right, so our second match of the night, it's going to be a title match. So we get a title match here in the first ever AEW Dynamite, and it's the AEW Women's Championship, and it's one Nyla Rose versus Riho. So this is a match that, we've gotten teased with the last pay-per-view. Riho won her one-on-one match to become the contender for the title. Nyla Rose won the Casino Battle Royale. And, it seemed like, if you had to pick the two that were going to be in this match, I don't know if I might have picked Rose. I don't think I'd pick Riho, but it's a, Goliath versus David kind of matchup. Riho's been showing really well in all of her matches. I'm pretty sure she's undefeated. Nyla Rose has a defeat under her belt. Technically, and I think in the three-way match, she lost.
Yeah.
She wasn't pinned, but she was on the losing side of that. Excited to see a championship belt exchange hands in this first ever AEW Dynamite, a women's championship. So really getting to showcase that. I'm guessing we might get to see who the next contender will be after this match. So whoever wins, I'm guessing we'll see somebody peek behind the curtain as being like, hey, guess what, people? I'm next. But I'm probably seeing Nyla Rose. I'm always an underdog fan, so I would really like to see Riho win, but I feel like Nyla Rose, this is her time, and she's going to take that title. Party Johnnetty, how you feel about this match?
Man, Shawn Michael, I have to agree with you on this. I think it's Nyla Rose's. I'll be surprised if it's not. Still cool. It doesn't matter. Whoever wins, I think, is going to be a great champion. And like you said, we'll find out for sure who's going to challenge for that belt. The match between Nyla Rose and Riho, though, they're both going to have to showcase all of their talents in this ring. This is a staple match. It's a lot of pressure. Let's be completely honest
for sure,
here.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure. Not only is it a first ever women's championship match, but it's on TV. It's not on pay-per-view. So I can almost guarantee that they're going to have good ratings to begin with for the opening, this first ever episode. And I mean, that's not just saying like, hey, it's because it's just all elite wrestling, but there's more to it. It's wrestling back on TNT. So you're going to get a lot of people that are interested just based on that alone, that curiosity factor. And so they're really going to have to step up to the plate to this. And it's a lot of pressure on them, and I am not jealous to be into that situation. That would be really tough. But with that being said, I do think it's going to be a good match, and I do think Nyla Rose is going to win the belt.
Yeah, it's a good point to bring up because, like, pay-per-view, if you go long, you go, you got a little bit of forgiveness there. With TV, you've got spots you got to hit.
Yeah, man, it's live.
Cody having the first match, he's been on TV before. He kind of knows how it works. So I think that's a good first person to have going in this.
Yeah.
I don't think Rose or Riho's really done any TV work, right, besides the pay-per-views.
Yeah, right. No, I think that's just kind of it. That's the one thing. A lot of these wrestlers have not really done too much TV work in the sense of something more on a national level. I know that some of them had participated, obviously, in like Lucha Underground, for instance, like Luchasaurus. But even then, Lucha Underground was a totally different film show. It wasn't in front of like, hey, this is live TV. This was all filmed. Yeah, it was in front of a live audience, but it was still filmed. So there's a difference, and the cinematics were different for Lucha Underground compared to other wrestling shows like the WWE. This is a live sportscast, basically. And I mean, you got to sit there and you got to make sure that your cameras are in good tip-top shape and that your angles are fine, and you don't want to look too much like the other product, but you want to be just enough where people can enjoy it. It's kind of funny. I was sitting back and I was watching a WCW old Monday Nitro.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And it's hilarious, the camera angles, like the stuff that they got away with. It's just kind of funny with some of it because it wasn't the best angles, and yet we were all very forgiving. The product was still there. But if you go back and you watch some of those later WCW Monday Nitros, not the best camera work. I'll just put it that way.
Were you watching like early, like 94, like the first like year of Nitro, or were you watching later?
No, I was watching later when they were about to be out the door. So
I got you, yeah.
I don't know if that was a problem that had to do with it. I don't know if that was just something that they were trying stuff differently, but, the wrestling was good. The camera angles, not so much.
Yeah, well, hopefully with this, I mean, they've got some time, and I'm hoping in this time off, they've really kind of almost like brought everybody in to kind of basically do like, not really pre-show work, but like training for like, okay, here's how our first show is going to work to get everybody kind of up to speed for it. I mean, the Fight for the Fallen, Fyter Fest all kind of had that TV feel to it, so they really were pushing that. But, kind of just putting that stuff in your head, like, all right, we got to hit this spot, we got to hit this time, all right, we got to go home here. Because remember, All In, unfortunately, they got cut for time on that, and they can't get away with that here.
Yeah, right. Yeah. This is definitely going to be one of those moments where it's like, sorry, folks, we are out of time. But then again, during the Monday Night Wars, that was awesome. Like when they were doing that, because you're like, holy shit, what happened, man?
Yeah.
Like, it was just chaos. It wanted you to want more.
When they did it right, too, like there'd be a little bit extra at the end, and you have to tune in, like to Saturday morning, whatever. And like with this, you'd probably have to tune into like Being the Elite on Monday, or maybe they'll have some other stuff, like maybe they'll move the Road to like a Friday or something like that on YouTube. You tune in and be like, well, what the fuck happened after the show went off the air? See all the craziness ensue. I always loved the cliffhanger endings back in the day, so I'm super pumped for this stuff to happen here.
Oh, me too, man.
The next match, I'm not sure if this is the exact order, but this is the order that the card was displayed in the website that I was looking at. But the next one on here is Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus Chris Jericho and the PodRockers.
Yes.
Card subject to change.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, this is probably going to be the match of the night. Let's be totally honest. You and I have been working out like no others, man. We are ripped, ready, and roaring to go. This is going to be amazing. We're not going to let them get the best of us because we're the PodRockers, man. We do bumps here. We do bumps in Mexico. We do bumps in Canada. We do bumps everywhere. We've
been doing those PodRocker bumps to get psyched for this. I've been using new soap. I put my bumps on my soap, and I've been using it, putting it all over my body. Yeah. Mrs. Michaels, she can't keep her hands off me. We've been married for like 7 years, and you get the 7-year itch, and by 7-year itch, she's like, hey, don't do that right now. I'm not in the mood. And you're like, well, okay. But since I've been using that soap and those bumps, boom, she's been all over me. It's crazy.
Nice. My 7-year itch came after a doctor's visit. I don't like talking about it.
That was that 7-year itch. Wasn't that the name of the lady in Mexico? I think you would have known. Like, you probably should have hey, that's 7-year itch over there. Like, I don't get it. And then the next morning, you're like, I get it.
I just thought it was a different Spanish word that I just didn't know. When you say it really fast, 7-year itch.
Yeah, it was beautiful at the time. I mean, when you mix that with tequila.
Yeah, I thought it meant rose.
But CJ, so Party Johnnetty, give me a little bit more, like, how do you feel about this match? You got the Golden Elite, CJ, 2 mystery partners. CJ's going to have the belt because we haven't lost it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
I think that deserves a little pat on the back.
Yep, Barry Horowitz style, doing it right now. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, man, I think this one's going to be good. Whoever the mystery partners end up being, if they announce beforehand or if they end up waiting till the show to announce, this is the first show ever, so they definitely have to have something hot in their pocket. And if it's, I don't even know who. I know we kind of talked about that the last time. That would be really cool, but hopefully it's someone big. hopefully it's something that people are going to be like, holy crap, like when Jon Moxley joined, that was a holy shit moment. Hopefully this first ever show, there's another holy shit moment with Chris's partners. Either way, though, I think the Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus Chris and the two mystery partners match is going to be a fun one. Those guys do it up, and they do it up well. It's just going to be kind of like a treat for the fans. I don't think anyone's going to take this so seriously, like, oh yeah, this means something. More so, this is just really big entertainment. It's just a crowd pleaser, and you can't lose on that. I think whatever happens, though, is quite possibly Chris and his mystery partners win, and we get more of that push of Kenny and the Young Bucks thinking that they're soft and that they don't have it, so that when we go into their next storylines, which they kind of been hinting at already on being the Elite, that this really kind of starts to push them towards that.
Yeah, it's been, so the being the Elite kind of showing like Kenny Omega kind of going through like just basically like depression withdrawals of like, no killer instinct, and the Young Bucks are kind of soft too, like you just said. But yeah, I kind of feel like CJ and whoever he's got in his side, that's who's going to be the winners here. But yeah, I feel the same way. If it's, I think LAX, I can't remember if you can call them LAX right now or not, but I feel like that's the group that would most logically be the mystery partners. But
yeah,
you almost want that like buzzworthy, Thursday morning, you're looking through Yahoo News, and one of the first things on there is like AEW's mystery partners for Chris Jericho are, and you're like, holy shit, I know who that is. And it just kind of blows your mind and gets those clicks, because that's going to get people interested for week 2. I'm guessing there's going to be some instances in this where you're going to watch it and be like, all right, there's some growing pains. But if they can have something like that to kind of hide over that or cover that up, that's just going to make this show like just pop even more. Because it's, like you said, the first week of ratings is always really high. It's the second week drop off. But with wrestling, if you can kind of keep just giving that teaser out there for like, this is what next week is, you're going to get people invested. And I just hope I hope it just blows your mind. Like you said, the Moxley type thing.
Yeah, right.
So our next match, we have Adam Hangman Page versus Pac. So this was a match that was supposed to happen at Double or Nothing. Pac wasn't able to make it, so Hangman Page was the wild card, or the Joker card, in the Battle Royale, which he ended up winning. But now we get the match. Page was going full gear challenge, getting in shape, trying to get skinny and big at the same time. I think he's at that point right now. Pac, when we saw him at the last pay-per-view against Kenny Omega, was a great match. Like, this was my first exposure to Pac, and he's got some just great in-ring ability. I'm glad to see him here too, because I wasn't really super aware of all like the issues with him not wanting to wrestle at Double or Nothing, and so like seeing him, it was kind of like, okay, is he part of AEW or is he just not? And getting to know that he's fully here right at the right time. This is a big match. I mean, this is Adam Page. This was going to be a pay-per-view match, and we're getting it here on the first ever AEW Dynamite. And Page, what's crazy, I mean, I don't know how many people are watching Being the Elite Road 2s, but Page hasn't been on any of them since I think the last All Out, basically not go home show, but there's the one right after the pay-per-view.
Yeah, right. No, you're totally right.
So we haven't really seen much of him, on something that you're pretty accustomed to seeing him about every week, every other week. So I'm curious, you've got Omega kind of in his downward spiral. Is Page going to be are we going to see a different Page come out? Is he going to be, this pissed off cowboy who, yeah, let's do some cowboy shit, woohoo, and stays like, I'm going to fuck you up like a cowboy, because that's what I am. I'm the Hangman.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. Like, I feel like this will be the most violent match of the night. And it's one of my favorite matches I think I'm looking forward to this week.
Oh, yeah, you bring up some valid points on that, man. I didn't even think about some of that stuff. That you're totally right. Paige hasn't been on any of the shows these past couple of weeks, or, after he lost, he was just on it that one time, and then that was it. This is going to be a cool match. I do think this might possibly be the match of the night if things go the way that it seems like they're going. Both men very talented, obviously, and both men, I think, can put on a great banger of match. They did on YouTube, if you saw it, when Paige went all the way over to the UK to WrestlePac, and they had a great back and forth. I'm just excited about it. I love seeing Pac back in the ring. I love seeing what he's able to do. I love that match with Kenny Omega and him. It's fun, man, and this is no different. But I do have to say also, I'm putting my egg in the Adam Page basket for the win.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of cool with this too, because again, going back to like other wrestling weekly shows, a lot of times you see, okay, this person versus this person, you can kind of pretty confidently say, oh, this person's going to win. But in this match, I could see Paige winning, I could see Pac winning, and I could see a storyline brewing from either or winning, which is just, it makes it that much more anticipated because, again, I don't know what's going to happen here, and I'm excited for that. Like, it makes it feel truly like I'm actually watching, I'm not like watching it to fulfill what I already know what's going to happen. I'm not spoiled before I see it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, you're definitely right. I mean, either way, it seems like you don't know who's going to win. And that's what's awesome about it.
Although I say that, in the last match of the night I think it's going to be exciting. They've had a really good build up to it, but it is one MJF, the salt of the earth, versus the Dungeon Master, Brandon Cutler. So the party, Johnnetty, why don't you tell me a little bit about this match? What do you think's going to happen here?
Oh man, this is definitely one that I feel is going to be this hopeful beating up the schoolyard bully type of story moments that's going to come crashing down. It's not going to happen. I think MJF is going to get that upset victory. He's going to beat Cutler, and people are going to be bummed, and they're going to want more, and they're going to want more and more and more because they want to see the come-up on MJF, but I don't know if that's really going to happen with this. It seems like it's that typical, like, hey, pulling for the underdog and Brandon Cutler, and it's not going to happen, and people are just going to be angry and upset, which is going to give MJF even better, greater heat. People are going to hate him, especially if he beats Brandon Cutler, and I think that's going to happen at Dynamite tomorrow night.
Yeah, I have a hard time seeing Cutler come out with a victory, but when I saw Cutler at the Casino Battle Royale, he's decent in the ring. He's not amazing. He's not like, but he's good.
Oh yeah.
And I think if he can start like just toning that up and getting better and better, this could be a decent little feud for the next couple months. You know, like this could culminate in a decent maybe mid-card pay-per-view match to definitely get MJF over even more than he is now. But it would be kind of neat to see this little feud build on and on. But yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think MJF's going to come with the win here. You might see Cutler come through with some decent, come from behind stuff where MJF gets a little too cocky, maybe a close, 1, 2, 3 here or there. But yeah, it's going to be MJF in the end for sure. And that's when I would probably say I'm 99.9% sure it's going to be MJF.
Yeah, man.
And lastly, what we have for AEW Dynamite, we're going to get to see the reappearance of Moxley. He's going to come in for an appearance. They haven't said much what he's going to do, if it's going to be just an interview or just a ring it, like kind of promo or what it's going to be. But I like to see that he's getting to come back. I know he's coming back from some arm surgery or elbow surgery, which was pretty serious. I feel like this is going to be kind of queuing up the Moxley versus Omega. So I'm wondering if he's going to be kind of around the ring as that match is going on. He's not cleared for wrestling for another month or two, right?
I believe that's correct.
But so what do you think of Moxley coming back?
Well, I think it's good. I think it's a good kind of fresh energy for the fans to be like, oh, sweet, yeah. Moxley's here, and it kind of gives them that boost of hope again soon, that they're going to be like, oh yeah, that's just another contender for AEW. And I mean, whether he's going to be beating someone up or just comes in and says, hey, I'm ready for you, Omega, blah, 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 or don't think just because I had to take time off that I haven't been prepping for you, something along those lines. And then we get that build up for Moxley Omega. I mean, it's nice. It's just one of those, he's a fan favorite no matter what. And even with his stuff in New Japan and whatnot, he's just been on a roll. And it was sad to see that this happened. He had MRSA or whatever. And now we just, hope for a speedy recovery and he gets that all cleaned out, man. That stuff's no joke. I mean, I know we've already talked about it, but it's like staph infection is definitely scary and it's something that you don't want to have to deal with. You see it a lot in wrestling. You see it a lot in MMA. And man, some of it's just absolutely gross.
Yeah, it was sad to happen when it did, but at least, I mean, it's almost one of those things too, like you got it, like you saw him at Double or Nothing, you saw him at Fyter Fest, and you're like, oh, I'm so ready for Moxley. Then his injury happened, and with them taking so much time off, you almost kind of forgot that it's like, oh yeah, Moxley's here. Like that's another card in the back of the pocket that they can pull out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm ready to see what happens there. That feels like that could be the end of the show. Like you could have Moxley do the promo at the end, but I wish I knew the actual card. But then again, I'm glad I don't, because it'll just be a big surprise for me as they're going through the first ever AEW Dynamite.
Yeah, right.
All right, so let's jump to our 5-star match. So Party Johnnetty, I think I might know, but what match are you most excited for on the first ever AEW Dynamite?
Oh man, I mean, besides our match, I'm definitely looking forward to that Hangman Page versus Pac match. I think that's going to be a killer one. That's going to be fun just to see that, and I can't wait to see what they have to do. My honorable mention would be that Nyla Rose and Riho match. It's going to be fun to see who's the first ever crown champion, female champion of AEW.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think that Pac Page match is going to be really awesome. Like I said, I think it'll be the most violent. I think that'll be the match that'll kind of show us, too, how violent we'll see Dynamite get. I'm sure they'll have some nights where it gets a little bit more risque, but I think for the most part, that's about where you're going to see where the line is. And then obviously, we've got our gear, we've got our bumps, we're ready to rock and roll. So the PodRockers, we got that new music we're going to debut tomorrow night.
Yes.
Oh man, PodRocker anthem. It's like Party in the USA, but you know what? We party all over the world.
That's right. That's right. We've had to really change it up because of no copyright infringement. So
yeah. I mean, we got that new credit card of CJ, so we could probably be fine. We got that CJ money, but
yeah. Oh, we should look into that.
Yeah, I mean, when you add it with TK's money, I mean, sure, we could have her come and sing for us, right?
Oh yeah, we got to save that for a pay-per-view though.
Why save it for a pay-per-view? This is the first ever Dynamite. Like, who are you gonna remember? Are you gonna remember that?
No, you're totally right. You're totally right, man.
All right, I'll get her on the phone. I'm sure I can get her number. All right, so for the main event, this is our main event question, and I want to know, Party Johnnetty, what do you think the biggest surprise on the first ever AEW Dynamite is going to be? So this is all speculation, of course, and mine's way out there, but I'm curious, what do you think the big surprise would be?
Oh man, gosh, the biggest surprise that could that would be just ridiculous would be to see some big WWE wrestler just showing up, and that we either have kind of been silent about or forgot about, and then all of a sudden he comes in. I know that there had been rumors about possibly like Jack Swagger.
I've heard those.
Nothing. I'm not trying to take anything away from Jack Swagger or anything like that, but I don't think he would get as big as a pop as I would think that they hope for. I think he would get an okay pop. But man, could you imagine if something like, whether you have one of the greats like Ric Flair showing up, even though Ric Flair, God bless him, because he doesn't care, man. He'll take that money anywhere. He'll show up on AEW, then he'll show up on WWE, then he'll go back and forth, man, because he's like still apart with the WWE and doing stuff. But man, that'd be really cool to see something like that. I don't know to get a crazy big wrestler to come out that we, like I said, either forgot about or maybe there's a contract that just kind of went up and people have been hush about it. So that would be amazing. But other than that, man, gosh, I don't know. Besides us coming out there and rocking, that would probably be it for me.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a surprise wrestler that's going to show up. If it's a legend like a Ric Flair, I'd be kind of the same, like, oh, cool, it's Ric Flair, but doesn't really do anything. Because, again, he's going to be there this week. Is he going to come back? Like, if Bret Hart came back, like, he's kind of already done that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, I know there's been rumblings or maybe people just hoping, but, like, Stone Cold Steve Austin, like, if he showed up for some random reason, I don't think he's under any contracts that I know of, but I'm sure he's probably got a WWE something or another. So that's probably like a complete pipe dream.
Yeah, right.
If it's former WWE guys, I always like Johnny Impact.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'd like to see him. Or I don't know if he's still relevant, but it was Mr. Kennedy in WWE, Mr. Anderson. I always loved his character. I always loved that, just coming out and, the Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But I don't know if anybody likes him or not. That might just be my personal preference, but
yeah, it's been a while, man. I don't know what he's wrestling for anymore. He was on TNA Impact for a bit there, but I'm not sure where he's at. He might still be there. He might be somewhere else. I haven't kept up with him lately.
But if I had to drop the number one surprise that I hope that happens, and I mentioned it last episode, I hope the villain shows up, Marty Scurll. If that happened, because again, I'm just starting to I've mentioned this numerous times, but I wish I've been into these guys for like the last 10 years because like Marty Scurll is like just one of my favorite wrestlers I think of all time from the stuff I've seen. And if he showed up, I'd be like, all right, I've wet myself a little bit. I'll be backstage and I'll be like, hey, all right, I don't know. Should we join Villain Enterprise, Party Johnnetty? That might be the split. You're like, well, we got CJ. I'm like, yeah, but does he have a mask? I mean, he wears mask, but not like that.
I understand if you want to split. Just please don't throw me through a window again.
I mean, that's why we rate by barbershop windows.
Yeah, I know.
That's what they're going to say. It's going to be like, hey, we're at the AEW Control Center, and I don't know why Party Johnnetty didn't see this coming.
Oh, man. I'm just a sucker for partying.
Well, I think we've kind of talked a little bit about our cheap heat or mark moments, but do you have any cheap heat or mark moments you'd want to talk about what you're expecting from AEW's first ever Dynamite?
I mean, other than what we've kind of already said, I think one thing that I'm scared to death about is that the show is just lackluster, that we have all these high hopes and it's just not there. People have already kind of been... naysayers have been like, oh, it's not that good. Oh, it's not that good. See, it's not that great. And especially you're going to get the people who are going to be like, oh, it's not as good as NXT. But I can guarantee you that it's probably going to beat NXT in the ratings tomorrow just because of how hot and on fire it is. Will it continue to beat NXT in the ratings? Who's to say? We'll see. But hopefully, and I have the confidence, I just don't want to see any lackluster matches, man. You got 2 hours that I'm taking out of my day to spend with you. You got to make it exciting for me.
Do you think they should have started an hour?
Like an hour early or?
No, just like an hour showtime.
Oh, just start it. No, that ends up like too much can happen. Like, if they had a second show that was just an hour, I think that'd be a good idea. But just an hour for their main show, not so much, because there's so much to talk about and do. Like, when you look at WWE in the 3-hour Raw, for instance, not a lot gets done within 3 hours. And it's kind of crazy to think that that's how it goes. But, like... I think 2 hours is the perfect. It's enough to keep people interested without just being like, all right, I'm sick and tired of this. I'm done. So 2 hours is good. I think 1 hour would be a little bit too short for them to get over what they want to accomplish, especially since they don't have really any other shows on TV.
That's true.
So, yeah, I think 2 hours is the sweet spot.
Because I don't think a lot of people, or maybe it's hard to tell, but I'm not sure how many of the new wrestling fans have really identified as like, oh, there's so much more content on YouTube. Go there and watch those videos and you can get so much more. So
yeah,
I guess I see your point there. But and then talking on NXT, I know NXT, this will be its third week going live. Have you watched any of the NXT stuff yet since they've gone on USA?
I accidentally watched the first one, and I don't mean to say that like as a joke. I mean, it happened to me. I was actually in Chicago for work, And I just got back to my hotel room and I flipped on the TV and I flipped through and I caught the last match of NXT. So I was like, oh man, I totally forgot that this was starting up already. Now at home, I don't have cable or anything like that. So it's kind of funny, and I'm not, in no way are they sponsoring us, but if they do, please get at us. But I'm going to be, after we get done recording, looking into Sling TV and probably purchasing a package from them. And right now, they have like 40% off your first month. So that's pretty enticing.
Yeah, I had Sling TV. I've lucked out. I've got AT&T has it, and again, not sponsoring us, but when we upgraded our plan, we get like AT&T Live, which has basically some of those basic channels like TBS and TNT. So that's where I get to watch mine at. But
oh, nice.
But yeah, that's what it makes us so nice, is having like the ability to watch this stuff. You don't have to go out and buy a huge cable package. You can do some of these more month to month kind of things.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I like that.
But my only cheap heat I really have is same vein. I'm worried that we'll have kind of something happen in the event of the night where you're like, all right, well, that, like, kind of when we had the Double or Nothing, the double finisher from CJ, he was, he had a little bit too much bubbly, so he was struggling. But,
yeah.
Where it's like, okay, I see where that's coming. Oh, you're okay. All right, well, do it again. All right, there you go. So I hope we don't see anything too obvious like that.
Yeah.
Mark moments. I mean, I want this to be a big celebration for AEW and all the people that have put in all this work over the last, I guess, 10 months at this point to get this to this point. I mean, we talked David versus Goliath with Rhodes and Riho, and this is a very much a similar thing. Like, how many companies have come along saying, we're going to, and they're not really saying it, but how many companies have come along to say, like, we're going to form this company, we're going to, get on a national level and not be able to do it. And these guys they're on TNT. They're on a TV station that so many people get. And it goes back to what's been said numerous times. There was 13 some odd million wrestling fans back in the heyday. Now there's 2. There's 11 million fans out there somewhere. And I hope they do a monster number, and I hope it's a great show. And I hope that, like, as the show ends and we come back tomorrow night to record this, to give our reviews, that we're both just riding a high, being like, that is exactly what I wanted from a weekly TV wrestling show. And just continue to be excited for the week to week of this.
Yeah, me too, man. I think the funniest and saddest thing that could ever happen, like, it would be the craziest, biggest pop, heat, and mark out moment, is if Shane McMahon came out on the first episode and he says he bought AEW. It would be the funniest, saddest thing ever, man.
But so it's all like a work by WWE.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
like,
man.
They just came in before this, they're prepping this thing up so hard. And then AEW just throws a ton of money at the Khan family and Tony Khan. And all of a sudden, Shane McMahon comes out and he's like, we're going to do it right. Like, we didn't do the first time, and they just have this weekly show of AEW going up against NXT the whole time.
I would get sick to my stomach. They're like, all right, everybody, AEW is now NXT.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, no, not again. Not again.
Well, I mean, I guess our AEW contracts would go to NXT, right? They would cross over, so
I hope so, but it just all depends, man. Maybe they make us ride them out.
I mean, I filled mine out and signed it with Crown because that's all I obviously had at that time. But that's still legal, right? You're PodRocker lawyer Johnnetty, so right?
Yeah, man. No, totally legal. We can see that that's your signature. Sure, man. Definitely.
All right, so let's jump into our BEP Elite 5. So what we're going to do here this is our PodRockers rank the wrestlers of AEW. And this is the ranking that we have going into the first ever AEW Dynamite. So now that we're on a weekly show, this will be a little bit more of like a current standings almost. So I'm pretty pumped to see how these turn out. So Party Johnnetty, what are your top 5, your BEP Elite 5, going into the first week of AEW Dynamite?
Oh, man, here we go. All right, in my number 5 spot, I'm going to put the Hangman, Adam Page. And number 4, we're going to go with Pac. And number 3, it's going to be Sammy Guevara. And number 2, I'm going to have to say MJF. And in my number 1 spot, let's put the Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
I like it. I just realized I left MJ off mine, but so for my number 5, I have Nyla Rose. Number 4, Sammy Guevara. Number 3, Adam Page. Number 2, the American Nightmare, Cody. And my number 1 is our man CJ, Chris Jericho.
Sweet.
Yeah, I feel like, so Nyla, I feel like she's got to be, because I feel like she's going to be the AEW Women's Champion. Sammy G, he's getting that first spot on the opening match of the card, so I think that's pretty big. And I feel like Pac and Paige, they could flip-flop here depending on how that match goes.
Yeah, right?
So let's jump to our From the Stand. So we have a great friend of the show, Paik Allen. He's PodRocker fan club president. He's putting together, he did it for a couple pay-per-views, but it's kind of a scoring competition. So AEW's AEW Dynamite's debut week match prediction. So here's kind of the rules. So it's 1 point for getting the winner of the match correct. For getting the match correct. If you get the point, you then are able to get bonus points for each match by guessing the way they win. So if it's a tag match, there will always be bonuses for choosing who gets the win and loss for the respective teams. And of course, he added some extra bonus predictions in there. So, when you run through this, you've got like Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara, Nyla Rose Riho, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Paige Pack, MJF, Brandon Cutler. And the bonus question that he has for this week is, who is Chris Jericho's mystery partners, the PodRockers? And then also he talks about Moxley. Is he going to speak or does he get physical? So I'm working with him on this, so we're going to try to see if we can kind of get these up earlier, maybe just for pay-per-views to start out, but kind of get our group together, our PodRocker Nation, to kind of get part of this. And also, if you want to continue to be part of the PodRocker Nation, send us in those promos. We're doing a weekly show. You know what? You're watching AEW Dynamite, you see the PodRockers on there, you see us cut our promos looking badass, then you're like, I'm going to cut my own promo, and you send that to us at podrockers@beelitepod.com. All right, Party Janae, so I know you are just ready to say, what do we have coming up next?
Well, our next episode, we will be bringing you a review for the first ever episode for AEW on TNT, Wednesday night's AEW Dynamite.
Oh, that is just music to my ears. I'm ready for this. I'm ready to be there front line, watching this show happen, watching this paradigm shift happen in real time. Party Johnnetty, I'm excited to bring you along for the ride on this, and I'm glad that you've hitched your ride to this PodRocker train, because this PodRocker train is going to go coast to coast, north to south, all across the world.
That's right, baby. That's absolutely right.
Yeah, we don't need tracks. We just need bumps. Those good PodRocker bumps.
That's right. Keeps us going.
All right, PodRocker Nation. Well, reach out to BEP by following us on Twitter at BElitePod and Instagram at BElitePodcast. Email questions, comments, and those promos to podrockers@beelitepod.com. Like us on Facebook by searching for BElitePod.
Well, we are desperately out of time for this week's Be Elite Pod, but until next week, I'm Party Johnnetty.
And I'm Shawn Michaels saying so long from our BEP Home Elite Studios.
Remember, get off the street and be elite.